Lehigh University Care for Cambodia partnership, which began in 2010, is one of the main sponsors of this program. And the program is meant to commemorate the 40th anniversary of undergraduate women at Lehigh University. Today's event will feature Professor So Thieng. He's one of the newest faculty members of the Comparative International Education program. And our keynote, Ms. Amelio. She's the founder and CEO of Care for Cambodia. Today's event is just part one of this initiative, where Ms. Amelio will speak on her efforts to establish an international NGO, the successes that Care for Cambodia have achieved, and the challenges that the organization continues to face, both in strengthening its presence and the presence of women in the educational sector of Cambodia. Part two of this program, which will occur in the spring semester, will focus on a virtual dialogue between these Cambodian women and Lehigh students and faculty.
I lead the Care for Cambodia and Lehigh partnership project, and Jamie is the founder of Care for Cambodia and also the funder of the partnership project for 3 years. And what we do is to bring students from Lehigh to Cambodia to do research, to conduct program evaluations 2 times a year.
On behalf of Caring for Cambodia and all 6,000 plus kids, I would also like to say thank you, because it's people like you that help drive what we do to success. We're here today because in one way or another, we're all pursuing humanity and a lifelong experience in making that work for us all. Maybe your primary interest is political science, women's issues, education, government. We also all share a belief in hope and possibility. With pervasive political and economic instability around the world, NGOs are playing an increasingly significant role in the duties and problems of poverty, health, and regular education in small cities and big cities. In 2003, I went to Siem Reap. My best friend, Virginia, from Austin, Texas, and her daughter went with me. We had planned a big Cambodia trip. We were excited to go see the temples and all of the cultural things that were there. But right away, Siem Reap seemed different. When we landed, we went out to take our taxi to the hotel. It didn't at all resemble the fast pace of the other countries I've been in. The honking horns, the traffic everywhere. There was a lot of things going on in the street, but it was with barefoot children and kids and moms and dads on bicycles. I saw lots of motorbikes with families on them, pigs hanging off the back end. It was very interesting. But strangely so, I felt very comfortable there. Something happened at that moment. I'm still trying to figure that out. But when you see that kind of thing right in front of you, something happens. The next morning, our guide, Sammy, took us all to the astounding temples of Angkor Wat. As we walked around and took in all the ancient history, it was just a phenomenal morning. As we turned around the back part of the temple, off in the distance, I saw 4 or 5 monks walking across the yard in these bright orange robes. And it was right at that moment that a little girl came up to me and asked me for $1. And I turned and looked at her and I said, "What do you want the money for? $1? What's that about?" All morning kids have been asking us to buy postcards and books and t-shirts, and they were everywhere. Sweet, nice little people. But this little girl was on the back of the temple and she was alone. And she told me she needed that money to go to school. I asked her where her school was, and she told me. And I said, "Look, if you take me to that school and you show me, I'll give you that $1. And I promised her I would go. I committed to her that I would show up, and that afternoon I did show up. Walked up to our school, which is actually our school now, then it wasn't. As I walked up and saw little Stray Lynn running around from behind the building, she took us to her classroom. And it was a dilapidated building. It was just, there was dust everywhere. It was a dirt floor. There were holes in the roof, in the walls. You could see, it was termite infested. It was dreadful. And there were about 75 kids crammed into this little building. And my heart just sank. Well, anyone that works with CFC understands the cultural differences. One of our mantras is just be flexible. You have to understand that things are going to change along the way. You have to adapt to those changes. And particularly in a world of violence and political upheaval, it's tough. It's very tough. But because we made that commitment to Cambodia and its people, we've done good. We said we'd come back. We've come back. And those children have come very far. But because we made that commitment and because we keep coming back, not only are we helping to educate children, we are building trust in a country that doesn't understand what that is. Caring for Cambodia has made a point to show them that.